I've been a guitar player for longer than I haven't. At least I think so. I'm not sure. Time's a construct and it's just kind of all over the place right now. But in the time that I've been a guitar player, I've grown to appreciate a certain characteristic of gear. It's a very subtle characteristic. It's a small thing, but it means a lot. That's portability. It's nice when you can nail the tone at home, you can nail it in the studio and bring that exact piece with you to replicate it at the gig, back home, wherever. And so that's why I'm really excited to talk about today the Blackstar St. James 50 series. It's their foray into just a new standard for portability. They're promising that these are the lightest 50-watt valve amplifiers on Earth in the world. The big pale blue dot, astral plane. They're the lightest 50-watt valve amps in the world. Typically, you hear something like that, and you hear, the strive for portability. You think, oh, there's probably some corners being cut somewhere. I don't think so, but we'll get into that later. With this series, you get basically two models of amps. Like I said, they're offered in the combo or the cab and head combo. And what it is you have the EL34, which is going to replicate a bit more of like a Fender blackface sort of amp. It's going to be a little more, it's going to give you like a cleaner drive. It's going to be a lower gain amp. And then there's a 6L6 model as well. The EL34 is in this sort of tan model. Black is the 6L6. With the 6L6, you're going to get a higher gain, a little bit of a hotter amp for people who like distortion, who like to really drive the sound. And what they do with these amps is they're able to take their sort of classic cleans and their classic overdrives, and you get it in one amp. So you may be thinking, I don't really need portability. Who needs portability? Who's this for? And it's a good question. It's just as much for the gigging musician who doesn't want to have to, wrench their shoulder, pull a muscle whenever they, pick up their giant amplifier, as it is for somebody who just wants to go into the studio and replicate that exact same tone at home. And Blackstar with this is claiming that it might be one of the best vintage voiced valve amplifiers on the market, which is a really big claim. But I think based on the sounds we were able to get out of it, you'll find the same thing. Check it out. In these amps are custom Celestion Zephyr speakers. And why is that important? Well, that lightweight nature of these amps, I can't stress it enough how lightweight and portable these are. You could throw them, I wouldn't, because they're amplifiers, don't throw your gear. But it lends to the lightweightness of it. They're custom made to, not weigh down the amp. And that goes from the combo model to the cab, the head, I think the head weighs about 13 pounds, the combo tops out at 24, and the cab's right around, in between there. It's the perfect portable amp. A little while ago, Blackstar had released their Department 10 pedals. You can check out our video for that. We went over it, we went through all the sounds of it, how much we like those pedals. But with that, they introduced their cab rig technology software as a more central part of the gear. And they've done that with these amps. On the back of each amp, there is a switch where you could switch between 3 presets. And that's completely up to you how you use the plug-in on your computer. You use the USB output that's on the back of this amp as well, plug it into your laptop, computer, and you can tweak it in there, save it, and then you have a completely customizable amp wherever you go, and it's a constantly changing thing. It sort of redefines chasing tone. The St. James series from Blackstar offers essentially 2 models. There's the EL34 model, which we're plugged into right now, and the 6L6 model. You can tell this has a sort of fawn exterior for the EL34. 6L6 has a black exterior. And there's a ton that they do with the cab rig software that you can edit it, but honestly, it's just a clean amp. It sounds really nice. It's very, just very open sounding. it's got a really nice sort of big body to it. And some of the built-in effects too, the EQ on it's really responsive. You can really kind of get that mid-scoop sort of sound out of it. Or if you wanted to, there's the reverb on it is super responsive. It doesn't get too washy the further out you get. Right now we have it at about noon. You can hear it. It's just a little bit in there. And if we, completely crank it up, you can hear it doesn't get too washy, but it's just enough to really affect the tone. And I mean, it sounds really great. And, like I said, we have some sound demos here that are in this video, but, just my ears to the amp and as I'm talking to you, I think it's going to really find a way on a lot of stages. It's going to find its way into a lot of studios just for its lightweight portability-ness, but also just the tone it offers. You don't get any compromise. You would think with a custom-built speaker or, they're taking things out that are meaningful to the amp. And honestly, for my ears, it sounds amazing. Having a lightweight amp like this or a lightweight combo setup like this, it means you can nail the tone wherever you are. You can be creative where you are and just extend that creativity to wherever you're going. It's creativity sort of on the go. And as a guitar player, I really appreciate that. So if this is something you're interested in, you want to pick one up, you want to learn more about it, head over to altomusic.com today.